Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks, and starting with the NASDAQ here. As you may know, we've been looking at wave 3 with an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4. We may need to drop it up to one higher degree. We're going to have a look at the stocks in the bigger picture today as well. So between wave B and wave C here, we're looking at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then 5 to finish off here for this. So yeah, just to pick that up on the intraday without going into too much detail, we're looking at, just get our bearings here, so we're looking at wave B here down to wave C here. As I just mentioned, we'll probably need to lift this up 1 degree here for this. So that doesn't matter at this point in time, but 1 and 2 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here for the third wave. We've been working through the fourth wave here. There is a case in stocks where we can be bullish in some of the stocks. Now, last week we looked at some of the stocks that were sort of starting to sort of shape up in terms of a bullish count, and Meta was one of the ones that were one of the strongest. And what was the other one? There was Tesla, possibly. There was one more, which was that one, NVIDIA, right, NVIDIA. So there's going to be, you know, there's some of these moves up here. There's some stocks that, just to let you know, some stocks that that we could count 5 waves down here. 1, 2, the third wave normally comes around the bottom here, and then the fourth and the 5th wave. So that would be some of them. Now, some of these markets have got, some of the stocks have got like 5 waves up here. So if they've got 5 waves up there, they will basically be pulling back for an ABC pattern, maybe quite deeply, and then moving up from that point. So in some cases, we'll need to look at this as wave 1 here. So if you're shorting stocks, I'll do my best to point them out and work them, but this is not a place to overtrade and lose money in this short-term trend here. Now, this trend here, wave 4 to wave 5 here, back up here that went for like 5 to 7 days, so we could do 5 to 7 days to the downside. But it may not be that as well, so maybe 3 to 5 or something, you know. So we just need to be a little bit mindful of this structure ending, because tops and bottoms don't always end the way that you would like them to. So yeah, we'll just, the changes here are that some stocks will be looking at wave 1 to the upside. We may need to lift this up to another degree, and I'll justify that with stocks in a moment. And the S&P is much the same as well. So from wave B up here as 1 and 2, see the length at the time, because the extension's in the third wave here, that means that wave 1 here, this green wave 1 and 5 here, can be kind of have some sort of equality to themselves. So the time that it took for this here would be just a bit of a, you know, just a ballpoint estimate of what it could do over here. And obviously we've got this number here, so this is where the bounce is going to come from. This is where the buy is going to come from. All that sort of stuff. We talked about shorting this particular one here, counting this up as the A, the B, and the C wave here for wave 4. So we're on our way to the downside here with this. So we'll check out this in the indices video a little bit later. But yeah, so so that's that. And just before we go into the intraday with all of these, we'll just have a quick look. I won't burn up too much time, but just on the daily chart for all these stocks, we'll probably need to look at them as wave 4 here. Now, Apple could be counted differently, I can see that. So, but still more downside to come here, but as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Amazon will be the same as well here. Let me just sort this out a little bit here on the daily chart here. So looking at, because it's really left this particular trend here now, you know, so we'll look at that as a wave 4. NVIDIA will be the same. They'll all have to be dragged into the pretty much into the same boat, really. NVIDIA may have started its wave 1 to the upside here already. I mean, there are going to be leaders and followers within all of this. You know, Meta is another one. We've been talking about this for a while, where it can be wave 1 and 2 up here. We're not ready to go long. We're going to go long above the top, and now we've got this second top in here, so we can look to go long on that second top there. We can expect it to drop further in line with the rest of the markets. Netflix is the same as well. We'll look at we've been looking at this as an ABC. I just got to lift it up one more degree. Google, I've got this is Google with a L on the end, the alphabet one, and this is how we've had it here, which is quite nice. I like it a lot. This one here, we drag this one into this wave 4 here. We still need a bit more downside on this, because we were looking at this, if you recall, and we'll be looking at it again, but as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming down here, and then moving up here, and then having an A and a B and a C, and then moving up again. So that's what we're looking for in the bigger picture, because if we get 5 waves here, that means that we'll get an ABC and another move up. Now, some markets with their 5 waves up here, or even 3 waves up here, have taken out the old previous high over here. So one would think, well, we'll get 5 waves up there, that's going to be a top. Yes, it will be a top, but there's some markets that haven't taken out the tops here. And the banks need to catch up as well. They're like way behind. We'll have a quick look at those 2 today in this section here. Microsoft will be the same as well here, so look at it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. It's sitting at the 38.2% at the moment. We're looking at this as an A and a B and a C here, as you know. So yeah, we should have a nice trade to the upside here with this. And Tesla's slightly different, but we need to drag it into the same boat as well, pretty much. And we've got a little impulse wave here. I just don't know with this one here if that we go straight up from here, or we have another little move down and then go up from here as well. So we'll need to sort of sort that out as well. And then we come over to the banks. BAC is a little bit complicated in its pattern. It's working in lots of 3s here. And you know, all the banks are a little bit different from each other. So we can kind of expect, this is not quite finished yet, be something like this for this bank. Goldman's will be much the same as well. We can see that it's working in lots of 3 here. We can see this 3 here. We can see this 3 here. Got little 3 waves here as well. So this one here can be, yeah, slightly different here as well for this one. But they're all in very awkward position. But the thing is that they're in corrective patterns. So they're in big corrective patterns. So when they, you know, they'll normally the banks lead out of, you know, bear markets are the first to lead. But since COVID, that hasn't really been the case for all of this. But we should see this in some type of correction here, and then move to the upside. So we could look at them being bullish, but obviously not yet, that's all. Probably when the bonds bottom out would probably be about right, or rather the yields top out, that type of thing. You know, the yields are, just while we're here, they'll all stick. These are the, you know, we've got the long end here, the 30s. They're trading, you know, what do they call inverted yields or whatever. So they're at like 4.7. I know that's at 5, isn't it? I'm thinking that in terms of all of these, you know, well, all the American ones, the Aussie ones, not too far behind either. But all these will stick at 5. So the 30 years, the 10s and the 5s and the 2s, they'll all just stick at this 5% here. but they've still got a way to go up there. This is the 5-year yields here, so they'll stick up here. This will be a turning point up here for these, but that will also be, that will also be up at the 5% as well. So to me, 5 is the second strongest number. It's going to stick here, but I mean, I can tie these in with the bonds and then into the stocks if you like, but we kind of do that in the commodities a bit. But yeah, anyway, just pointing out that a lot of the stocks that we're looking at, we'll be looking at this wave 4 here. So with Apple here, there's a couple of things here. We're looking for a rally, and this has also got here, if you can see, we've also got really a reasonable little 5-wave, I'll move this here, a reasonable little 5-wave structure coming up here. So we need to be careful about this. We've got a long trade on here at the moment, so that stop can just go above here at that. That will keep it pretty tight at this point. So just keep that above the high, and hopefully we can look at this pulling down here. There's a couple of things with this one. I mean, this one's had a bit of a beating, of course, from the Chinese thing, yeah, so we could end up further down on this. Actually, we may need to look at this here as wave 1 here and 2 here. And then all of this here becomes the third wave here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 becomes the third wave, the fourth wave, and the fifth wave here. Still got to do a bit of work on this, but I'm pretty sure at this point we can leave it as wave 4, because I don't see 5 waves from here to here. I only see 1, 2, 3 here. Do you know what I mean? So the 4 here is fine, and the 5 is down here. So we'll get down here, we'll get out, taking profit anywhere below this previous low here will be fine. We'll tune into that a little bit more. But just to let you know that this one, we may end up getting an extra move down here on Apple before we load in here. But I think the 65 will prove a reasonable support at that point. So look, if you're short here, that's great. I think we're on the right track here, not a big deal. Some of the other stocks we've shorted, talked about shorting on Friday, we've been talking about all last week really. So yeah, this should continue to move lower here. Do you want to add to this? You could get another little half a position or quarter of a position above the 170, and then one under this when it becomes the the retested resistance at that point. Don't chase it down, let it come back and then get it. And if this move up here is on lower volume, if you can read that, if it's on lower volume than the previous move down here, then you know that it's corrective, because corrections are on lower volume. So you can get a bit closer to the 70 at that point, and most of the time it will come back above the level, but not always. So it'll come back above the level and you have to rinse and repeat. If you can see 5 waves here, you could buy the, short the pullback here again as well. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you know what you're doing and where you are. And if you don't know what you're doing, don't do anything. But that's Apple. And then we come over to Amazon. Amazon's another one that's, it's possible to, we're not going to short it, because it's possible to look at this as 1 and 2 in here. That's possible based on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I don't really have a nice B wave here. I've got this here, but I've got wave 4 here, down to wave 5 here with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It's okay, but I'm not convinced enough to put money on this particular structure, or this structure here, because of this and this. So I mean, the general market would have this here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, finishing here in line with the NASDAQ and the S&P and those sort of things. But we may just get down here and then we'll go up from that point. So if this does come down, we've got a little 5 waves here. So if that does come down here, then that's going to leave us the long trade at that point. So that's something that we'll prepare for. So, while we're, we don't take our eye off the ball, so to speak, in that, we are looking for lows in the market, and, Yeah, so short term we're happy to trade down on some of the weaker ones, but some of the stronger ones I think we just need to be just be a little bit more careful about them. So we may end up going long on Amazon as one of the earlier ones, and NVIDIA, we talked about this as well, also having a possible low in. So it's also possible for it to come down here as well. We've only, in a nutshell, we've only really got 3 waves up here so far. So it's quite possible for it to move down, but it's sitting above Group 1 there, the 430. So I'm not. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this one. There's someone going to leave. We can trade Google down, Apple down. There's a few of those. I think we just stay with those, and these ones, because I don't want to get us trapped. That's the problem with this. So because we could end up with a 1 and 2 up here. So that's what I'm a bit concerned about. We're not there yet with it, so I'll see if we get another high here as well, because we've got, it's not the best 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave that we're looking for, with 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a nice fit here. So if we do get another high here, it'll be, this will be the pattern to go in. So I don't have the 5 waves up here just yet, but we'll just see how this plays out. But otherwise it's just going to come down to here and then go up, so we won't get trapped in that. And Meta was one of the stronger ones. So with Meta here, we're looking at the possibility of looking at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here for the B wave. So down for the A, up for the B, and down for the C. But my thing is that it was always, it was the timing of it against the rest of the markets for it to be down here and taking the lows out. We just didn't have the time for it. It still may be the case. It still may just be 1, 2 here, and a strong 3rd, 4th, and 5th here, and then move up from that point. That's possible. We'll just see how it goes. The other count is wave 1 here with wave 2 here, and then we've got 5 waves up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, and pulling back for wave 2 here. So this would be the A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So we talked about going long over here for that. Now we can use this high here, and if we get a second high, that would be part of the process here. It doesn't mean it's bearish or bullish at that point, and then we can bring it down to this one here. So we'll just see how it plays out. And yeah, I mean, it may be an A and because here I've got the A wave here, and ABC for the A wave, and A, and then a B wave here, and then a C wave here, and 5 waves, But that could also play out too in another way, in terms of this wave 2 that I've got here, this one over here. So it can be an A wave to here, a B wave up here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, and then we go up at that point. There's a couple of variations on all of this. So I mean, I really like the fact that it's sitting on the 300, and if it pops down here again, we need to, and then we can get it 3rd time lucky, so to speak. So we just wait for the right timing on all of this. So we're not there yet on on this market, but we know that. We've just been talking about it all last week, and we're doing all the right things at the right time. So we'll just chill and let that come to us. And Netflix here, I haven't really bothered with this too much, as you know, because all the little moves here are getting really quite squiggly. So we're looking for a little wave 4 there, so we can put that in, and I think we still need, it looks a bit corrective, so we still need to come down here further, and we'll need to look at this wave 4 here. So there should be, I'm not interested in it yet, but it'll be the same thing. There's nothing to buy, and then there's everything to buy. So you'll need to choose what you're going to trade and move into before we get our lows into play, because they'll all be ready to buy at some point. And this is just, you can see that it's it's got the beginning here, the middle here, and it's just really waiting for the rest of the markets. It can't really go out by itself at the moment because it doesn't have a fundamental story to go out by itself, you know. The only story I think that they've got going is that they want to, you know, they want to tighten up their logins, you know, people sharing their logins, you know. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen for that, but anyway, not ready for Netflix. And yeah, so Google's a bit of an easier one because we've had the top up here for this, and we may need to look at this here as this wave 3 here. Not that it really changes anything at this particular point, and wave 4 down here for this, so just a larger wave 4. So we took us ages to get to the top, and then we just, you know, watched it mosey on down in 5 waves, and then we've talking about it all last week about rallying back up into wave B at the 61.8%, while other markets were doing their wave 4s. Google will do the wave B here. We talked about shorting it under wave 4 here on the Friday, so I've moved that under here, so a little classic trading levels pattern here. So yeah, we should get some sort of little kickback in here, and then down again at this point. So you could, that will be the 61.8%. I'm going to bring it down to the just below the 132 here in this case, because I'm going to turn this green here. So it doesn't mean that you need to put in a full trade up at this point here. The stop, if you've got one in here already, then you don't really need to get one here by the buy, you know. We'll put the stop there. We need to do that. That's the risk. And yeah, in this case, if you bought here, then you could also get another smaller position under the 131 here. And it can just be just because you're adding here. It doesn't have to be adding above the level. And then you can also look to add that below the level when that, see how that became was the resistance, and then it became the support. So the long trade is here. I know it's a long way from everything, but you may have been able to get in. You can do, like, you know, once you understand the pattern, there's other things that you can look for as well, smaller patterns and volume and all sorts of things. But once that becomes the resistance, and then we should see some sort of equality in terms of, but I wouldn't hold your breath about it, but we should see something like this here. So we should be down here for this at this point. So we'll be looking for 5 waves down. We're just trying to build in a few more positions on the 3rd wave coming down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Apple and Google, I think, are the better shorts. I mean, obviously, you know, you can get these things wrong, and some of them really duck down and dive pretty quickly. But just generally speaking, and Microsoft is another one that could also be viewed as 5 waves up as well from the low here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know, this one here, we've been through this with the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. So I think I'm going to take this short out here. I mean, it should follow Google, but let's just do a smaller position here, so we're not exposed too much on this. Okay, so it's just a smaller position at this point for this. It's not going to get us very far, I don't think. Even if this is wave 1 here, this will be wave 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 here. I don't even know if we'll get to the 300. Anyway, I'll just move on from that. And Tesla is one that, a bit like Meta and the others. So we can look at it here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. That's the first thing. So we could end up being down here. The second thing is that there's a reasonable case for counting 5 waves up here. I can also count it as corrective as an A and a B here, and then 1 here. You know, slightly different on that move there, and get an ABC pattern in here. I can also count it a bit safer with 5 waves here going up. But as a wave 2 here, I have to say the wave 2 is a little bit big compared to this here. It's okay. It's just, you know, it's okay as it is. If it got any bigger, then that would be an issue, you know. And it looks like 5 waves up here with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. I can see that. I've counted a little bit differently in here as 1 and 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So it's slightly different, but you can count that there. So I'm not that sure about this at the moment. Obviously, it's bobbing along the 250 here, the medium level. And we're getting a situation where we've got a high up here, then a low here, and a high here, and a low here, and well, this may not be finished here. So it's kind of, you know, diminishing into this particular number, which is, to me, is always part of the trade setup. All we need to do now is just be a little bit patient. We don't have to jump the gun on this. So there's a couple of things that could happen here, is that we could come down to here and then go up. We could also come further down and take the low out here and then go up, or we can have a smaller move in here and then go up at this point. So I don't know which is the right one at this particular point. So I'm not going to do anything here. We're not going to short it. We're not going to go long. We're just going to do what we did last week and just continue to be patient and yeah, let it move into place. So I mean, as I mentioned, that you know, when the when the S&P and the NASDAQ have their lows in place to complete their wave 4s, then everything is going to be basically to buy. But what will happen is some stocks, you know, like the Metas, could lead the pack out much earlier than the others, you know. And then you'll have your leaders and your followers in those cases. So Meta would be a good long trade. NVIDIA probably needs to prove itself a bit more. Amazon needs to prove itself a little bit more. But those ones, and maybe Tesla, those 4 would be the the ones that we could look at first. You know, they would be the leaders out of it, and the other ones would follow. Now I say that, and I could easily get that wrong, and some of the followers could become the leaders and move quite a long way. You know, I mean, Microsoft has come down a long way, so it needs to go up a long way, for example. You know, so it may scoot along, not initially, but in its 3rd wave, it could really scoot along a little bit. You know. So anyway, we'll talk more about all of that a little bit later, but that's that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.